And Aaron Glenn hiring for the New York Jets is imminent as the Jets' master plan is being executed, as they will also be hiring Lance Newmark in just a few minutes, as the New York Jets have started to contact other coaches and GMs to inform them that they are going in another direction as they begin to hire Aaron Glenn and Lance Newmark to the New York Jets. And obviously, we have to break this down. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Jets Digest. It's Chris and Matt here. And guys, I hope you guys are enjoying the channel because we have some huge news and we are jumping right on this. It just came out, but guys, if you enjoy, make sure to subscribe, but we're not going to hold you guys up at all. Let's take a look. The New York Jets were just revealed by Connor Hughes to have started calling coaching and general manager candidates to inform them that they are going in another direction. Those sources are under the belief that Aaron Glenn and Lance Newmark will be named the team's next head coach and GM. Things are not 100% finalized / done yet. We've seen last-second snags before, but certainly trending in a positive direction for the New York Jets, as coaching source told Connor Hughes, unaffiliated with the Jets Brain Trust, that it would be a surprise if the two didn't get the jobs. Look, guys, there's no way to put it. Aaron Glenn and Lance Newmark are the next head coach and general manager of the New York Jets. It is all but official. It has all but been fully confirmed by the New York Jets themselves, but it doesn't matter. We know what this means, Matt. Aaron Glenn has been hired by the New York Jets, or is about to be hired by the New York Jets, along with Lance Newmark. And just to take a look at something else here, Rich Cimini mentioned earlier today that 31 years after being drafted by the Jets, also his uniform number, 31st overall, Aaron Glenn is trending towards being the head coach. It could happen today if all goes well, which we're seeing it's about to pretty much. There's a reason why Glenn picked the Jets for his first in-person interview. He also likes the idea of working alongside Lance Newmark, who also interviews today for the second interview. The stars are aligning. Matt, obviously, you did a video discussing the fact that they are the only two people to get second interviews. It's a done deal, man. Aaron Glenn, next Jets head coach. Lance Newmark, next Jets general manager. How we feeling?
I'm feeling really excited. You're going to see me on my phone a lot during this video. I'm keeping updating it because I want to see exactly when that news report comes out. I'm looking for anything when we get a new report on Aaron Glenn, I want to be able to bring it to the fans as soon as we can. But this is very exciting because Aaron Glenn is that culture builder that the New York Jets have been looking for. He's not Rex Ryan. He's the more modern version of Rex Ryan. He's just you just don't have the fond memories of him because he wasn't around back when Rex Ryan was Rex Ryan. Aaron Glenn could be everything Rex Ryan was and more. He can bring the culture together, bring a modern defensive scheme to the New York Jets, a scheme that has a next man up mentality. When players get injured, the backups move into their role and keep playing really, really well. If that's not exciting, I don't know what is. I know people really want an offensive guy, but it's worked before. We just saw this with DeMeco Ryans and CJ Stroud. They hired a defensive head coach, DeMeco Ryans, defensive coordinator of the San Francisco 49ers. He brought in a great offensive coordinator, Bobby Slowick. And look what happened to CJ Stroud. Look what happened to that offense. It happened last year. The Washington Commanders hired Dan Quinn, defensive guy, drafted a quarterback. But their offense looked phenomenal because the offensive coordinator hire was perfect. They nailed that. All we got to do to make the offense can still work out really, really well if the New York Jets are able to hire the right offensive coordinator. Do not worry about Aaron Glenn not being an offensive guy because we knew the number one thing this team needed. It had the talent. It needed the culture. And Aaron Glenn is the number one culture builder out there. He's better than Mike McCarthy, culture builder. Better than, or in my opinion, of course, better than Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson seems kind of like a soft-spoken guy. He's like an X's and O's guru, like offensive genius type thing, but he's not the culture builder that Aaron Glenn's going to be. He's going to be very, very exciting for the New York Jets here going forwards. I think he's going to be a coach that a lot of Jets fans are going to find it very easy to be a fan of when they, of course, don't meet him, but they're going to see clips of him online. They're going to hear about him. They're going to hear what he has to say, and I think it's going to be really easy to be proud that the New York Jets have a head coach who's proud to be the head coach of the New York Jets, and proud to be and New York Jets fans are going to be proud to have this man representing our team and leading our team onto the field every single Sunday.
Matt, something you mentioned was the fact that, yes, he's not an offensive coach, but he's a culture builder, and that does not mean the Jets' offense is ruined. I'm happy you brought that up because something We've actually shown before on this channel. Aaron Glenn himself said, here's one thing I would say about myself. I'm a coach. I just happen to be on defense. I understand the offense just as well as a number of people. So if you want to hire me, you're going to hire a coach. You aren't going to hire a defensive coach. I'm going to talk to the offense just as much as I am going to talk to the defense. Matt, Aaron Glenn has this thing that's like, he has a chronic problem. He keeps saying the right thing, and he can't stop doing it. He can't stop being the best. Like, I don't understand what's going on here, because usually the Jets hire people who are just absolute loons, like Jeff Ulbrich. Well, I mean, Hassan Reddick's one of the greatest people I've ever worked with. No, he's not. He scams old people or something like that. I don't even know. He opens old folks' homes, and his dad is his goon or something. It's like the weirdest version of LeVar Ball in some other world or something. But no, obviously, this is an awesome, awesome move for the New York Jets. It's been a while now that it felt like the Aaron Glenn stars were aligning. Obviously, there was the fear that the New Orleans Saints could come in and steal him away, but it feels like that's not happening. The New Orleans Saints are not going to have Lance Newmark. Matt?
One thing about the New Orleans Saints, all of their outlets on Twitter and on Instagram and on all forms of social media, they're worried. They are already conceding defeat with Aaron Glenn to the New York Jets. They're moving on to other candidates with the expectation that Aaron Glenn comes to the New York Jets. So if you're not going to trust us with this, you can trust I've seen at least 4 or 5 high level, very high follower counts, Saints outlets saying it's a done deal. The Saints cannot get Aaron Glenn.
When do the Jets beat out other teams like this? This is a good feeling. It's a really good feeling. Now, something else just to look at, because we're already having fun celebrating a bit early, even though we know what's happening. It's like when a team is up by like 3 touchdowns with like a minute 24 left, and like they don't have the ball. They're like, oh, whatever. Let's just have fun. Let's just enjoy life right now. But just to take a look at something else real quick. It was mentioned by Samini that Aaron Glenn was busy yesterday reaching out to potential staff members and seeking advice from some of his league contacts. Meanwhile, in D.C., the Commanders braced for the possibility of losing Lance Newmark after 1 year. Some GM candidates already know they're out of the mix. Now more know that they're out of the mix. And on top of that, Bleacher Report just talked about Aaron Glenn as a general sense. And just to bring it up because, well, he's the Jets coach. A former NFL cornerback who played from 1994 to 2008, Glenn spent the first 8 seasons of his career with the New York Jets and was selected to 2 out of his 3 career Pro Bowls while wearing the green and white. He also worked as a personnel scout for New York from 2012 to 2013 before making the transition to coaching in 2014. So, Matt, it's not just that he's back for the first time since the 90s. Aaron Glenn was here 10 years ago as well with the New York Jets. He re-enters an organization that he knows what it's like under Woody Johnson owning them, and what he knows what it's like for a team that's losing, and a team that he played for that's losing that he does not want to see lose. I understand why people want the offensive coaching thing, but I think what Aaron Glenn said about that really kind of puts out that bit of a fire. It's not even a fire to say. It just kind of resets the mind and makes you know everything's all good. But it just feels like this is the perfect move for the New York Jets right now. I'm interested about Lance Newmark. There's been a lot of thought about him as a general manager. And, I mean, there's been conflicting stuff. He's very respected around the NFL. Obviously, doesn't have the greatest draft track record recently. For instance, Jeff Udoka. But there is a...
Jeff Okudah?
Jeff Okudah. There's obviously Ime Udoka, who coaches the Houston Rockets. And, well, I was thinking of him.
Yeah, so one thing that I really like about Aaron Glenn, he was on a Jets team. I think they went 1-15. It was 1-15, or they won 1 to 3 games, and then the next season they came out and made the playoffs. So Aaron Glenn knows what it's like to horribly miss expectations and then make the playoffs the next year in a Jets jersey. So when he brings that to the locker room, brings that energy, and tells the Jets players that it's possible, they know he's not making it up. They know he's been through it. He's seen it. And if he can do it, so can they. And he's gonna put that belief inside the New York Jets players, and I can't wait to see it. I think this team could come out with a whole new type of fire next season. You were talking about how he put out the fire, the people who want the offensive head coach. I don't think he did that. I do think if you wanted an offensive head coach, you're disappointed. But the thing is, there was no offensive guru who was also the culture builder coach. So you had to pick one, and the New York Jets went ahead and picked the culture builder, which, looking at the roster that the New York Jets have today, was the correct move. The Jets have too much talent. They got a good O-line, not a phenomenal O-line, but a good O-line. They got talent at wide receiver if Devontae Adams comes back. So they just need a coach that can make everything work together properly. There are so many coaches in the NFL that do so much less or do so much more on offense with less talent. The New York Jets, they don't need the number one offensive coordinator or offensive play caller to have a successful offense. If Aaron Glenn can restore the feeling of that defense from the last couple of years, this team could be really scary in the next couple of years.
I think that this is just a great step in the right direction. What's next is seeing what the Jets roster is going to look like now. I mean, obviously the burning question of what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers. Is he going to stay in the NFL in general? Will it be with the Jets? Will it not be? That obviously impacts if Devontae Adams is going to be with the New York Jets. There's rumors that Garrett Wilson could request a trade, but it feels like getting a guy who's going to build the culture within the Jets within 48 hours of signing his contract. It just feels like things are moving in the right direction for the Jets. And I think it's absolutely such a great thing for the Jets that they're just doing something right, and they're getting a guy who had a lot of interest from the Raiders, from the Saints. Like, other teams wanted Aaron Glenn. This wasn't the Jets being the one team that was interested in this guy. A bunch of teams had interest, and the Jets came away with him. And it's, yes, a large part of that is because of Lance Newmark. And frankly, it is what it is. I am excited to see how this goes. I think this is a great move by the New York Jets. I'm very happy. I cannot wait for this to be officially official.
I'm absolutely with you. I cannot wait. Absolutely can't wait.
Guys, let us know what you think down below. You like the move? You don't like the move? There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Mostly gentlemen. Guys, like this video, subscribe, turn on post notification. Have a great day. Matt just checked one last time for the Aaron Glenn news to be officially official. It'll happen in a few minutes, maybe an hour or so. Stay tuned. Go Jets.